Morning. I know it looks like a hot tub party from one of those time machine movies, but it's not. It's actually Sabaton playing in a kiddie pool in Belgium, but not really. Actually, it didn't look like this. It actually looked like this. My reaction to their song "Race to the Sea," starting right now. All right, everybody. My name is Old School Nerd. Check us out on OldSkuleNerd.com. It's got all the social media posts, the Patreon link for those who want to help support the channel. We appreciate every single one of you. The Discord and the merchandise store. Okay. New album is out. You've got no excuses if you haven't heard the whole thing. Shame on you. I have it on vinyl, so I'm just like old school. I've already heard this song. I love this song, but now I get to see the video. I know it looks like, let's be honest, it looks like Joachim and the Hot Tub Boys, but it's not. This is a very significant event in history. And it's only rivaled by one other event in history, and I'm going to explain that to you right now. World War I, the German advance is coming across Europe, heading towards Belgium and France, and there's a battle of Yser. Now, a lot of people thought that I was going to say the name of that town wrong. I know it's Yser, but it's Yser. That's how it's pronounced. So, got you this time. But the Germans were advancing very, very fast. Similarly, the Germans advanced very, very fast 30 years late, less than 30 years later. But this time it wasn't mechanized like we know now, or the Blitzkrieg. This was World War I, so it was an infantry advancement. They were tearing through Belgium, and the Battle of Yser occurs, and there's a city called Newport, and the Belgians are desperate to slow up the German advance. The French are struggling. It's getting chaotic. It's literally a race to the sea, to see who can get to the sea first. And the Belgian king and the leaders of Belgium go, open the locks. So in the city of Newport, they opened the locks. Some people say they blew up the dams. I didn't find any historical reference to that. But I do know for a fact they opened the locks and then jammed them open to where they couldn't be closed by the Germans when they got there. And the result was much like their neighbors in the Netherlands. If you open up the locks, you get this. The whole countryside was flooded, including the entire field area of Yser, where the Germans were encamped. They literally got flooded out. And it brought the German advance to a complete standstill, which caused two things. This is one of those times in history where you look back and you go, either way was going to be bad. But in the long run, was it better? We don't know. The German advance was stopped, but it was stopped so suddenly that it gave the French and Belgian troops time to entrench themselves, which of course then made the Germans entrench themselves. So instead of this becoming a mobile war where armies moved in formations and maneuvers to outflank each other and engage each other in battle, it became a struggle that lasted for another 4 years nonstop. Eventually bringing in the United States into the war, and of course the Treaty of Versailles in 1918, and that was the end of it. Granted, the Germans progressing through Belgium into France would have stopped their trench warfare from lasting for 4 years, but then would Germany have won? Well, that's not a good idea either. So history tells the tale. Sabaton's going to tell the tale as well. Oh, also, those of you who said, wait a minute, you said that the opening of the dams on October 25th in Newport was the second most important event in history on that day. And you're correct. I was born on October 25th. Hey, October 25th is the day of the floods. Whether it be the Belgian fields in the Battle of Yser, or your boy, Old School Nerd, flooding the internet with stupidity. October 25th. You're welcome. All right, guys, let's get into this. Because I did this huge intro, I don't have to talk and stop it that much so we can enjoy Sabaton without me stopping. What? I know. If you made it through these last 5 minutes, congratulate yourself. Now you get to enjoy a video without me being stupid about it. Water. Cheers.
As the Nordstück falls and the battle horn calls, our lives would never be the same. We were looking down the barrel of our gun. Now the war has come and the battle's begun. We are desperate to know the road. To the war drum we'll be marching till it's done. Lead the way, we will follow into the fray. We will hold the line, we will not be led astray. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. Our steadfast will be the end of the race to the sea. The lefties of Belgium's free. We're keeping a slipper, a cog in the war machine. October of 1914. As our foe draws forth, we are moving on north. We will never let them have it all. There's a price for freedom paid by Belgium's sons. They may take our towns, they may conquer our grounds. We'll defend the nation and the crown. We'll uphold our independence with our guns. All the way on to triumph or to judgment day. We will follow and we will not be led astray. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. Our steadfast will be the end of the race to the sea. The lefties of Belgium's free. We're keeping a slipper, a cog in the war machine. October of 1914.
That's pretty cool. Tommy's not sporting a mustache this time. So maybe he was, but the water washed it off. I have no idea.
See a king and a soldier fighting shoulder to shoulder. See a king and a soldier fighting shoulder to shoulder. He overruled his commanders. He made a last-stand defenders. We see a king and a soldier fighting shoulder to shoulder to keep the last piece of Belgium free. All the way on to triumph or to judgment day. We will follow and we will not be led astray. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. Our steadfast will be the end of the race to the sea. The lefties of Belgium's free. We're keeping a slipper, a cog in the war machine. October of 1914. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. Our steadfast will be the end of the race to the sea. We're free. For king and for country, we are flooding the river. No more of our country lost. The land will be held at our cost.
I'm trying to figure out if maybe this was done in a studio water tank. You know, where there's different studios that have water tanks where they film like naval battles and like stuff for like maritime situations, because it's definitely not like a pond or something or a lake. The water's way too clear. And I don't know where they filmed this, but they did a really good job. It's a great video. These guys are getting really good at this stuff. I mean, I do love when Sabaton does their story videos where they dress up as different members of the different armies and they tell the story. But just like Bismarck, without all the computer generated ships, they needed something where it was just, we're going to rock through this, just hang out with us. It'll be fun. Kind of makes me wonder if right after they shot this video, if Tommy did his you raised me up 1 octave challenge, maybe the water was that cold. Shout out to Tommy. Good job on that one. Yeah, again, there's very few times where I get to react to a song about an event that occurred on my birthday. So pretty excited about that. Nobody else cares though. Anyway, so outstanding video from Sabaton as always. There's Potter right there. Chris. Okay. There you go. Jacuzzi Joachim. There you go. Jacuzzi. I think one of the interesting things about this kind of setup is I'm really looking forward to Tank the Tech's reaction to this one. I hope he does one because I get to see him break it down when he's going to go, okay, this is a ruined M80 mic. This is a ruined bass. This is a ruined guitar. This is a ruined drum kit. These are, I mean, because, yeah, there are all these instruments and equipment is all ruined, of course, obviously. They knew going into this, but it's all done. Anyway, so great job sacrificing their equipment to tell a story. Very cute. You know, a lot of people have been asking me lately, they're like, hey, do you think Sabaton's going to do a song about the current situation in Ukraine? And I have to say current situation, I don't know if a lot of you know this, there's an active, and I'm not saying anything about YouTube, but there are companies that own these platforms, like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter and stuff. And you're not allowed to use the W word, and you're not allowed to use the I word. It'll flag your thing and take it off this thing. So you have to say the situation in Ukraine. I wonder, you know, Sabaton has done many videos about Russia, and their videos are always in reference to the soldiers and the people of Russia, never about Stalin, never about the bosses of the Soviet Union. Or, you know, it's always about the night witches or the defense of Moscow. And I wonder if at the end of all this, one day, Sabaton will do a song in tribute to this situation and how they're going to tell that tale. I know that there's a lot of talk, and a lot of it is true, about the situations. The absolute sacrifice of the Ukrainian people is undaunting. Are there questions that need to be answered? Are there truths that need to come out about the government of Ukraine and their actions and their affiliations? Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they weren't able to join NATO before, was because of all that nonsense. But the only person I see acting like a Nazi is a bald-headed guy in Moscow right now, shutting down media and journalism and pretty much locking down his country to spout his message. It's a scary thought right now. And I never thought, I don't even think Joachim and the guys from Sabaton, you know, being Swedish, you know, and being in Europe, the tales of the Cold War, the stories of World War II, World War I, are much more relevant and personal and obvious because they can go to all those battlefields because they're there. You know, they can literally just cross the North Sea and here we go. We can look at all these battlefields. They can go to Belgium and see the trenches. There's actually a trench in Yser, and there's still in Newport near the locks. There's actually a memorial to trench warfare right there. They can go see all those things. We can't really look at that stuff except in pictures here in the United States. And I talked to a friend of mine who's in Finland, and he's worried. He's like legit worried. He's like, we like share. I mean, other than Poland, I think we share more of our border with Russia than anybody. Latvia and Lithuania and everything else, but he's like, we're not part of NATO, and we're just kind of on our own, and it's like we can count on our Sweden brothers and sisters, but that's about it, So I get all that. There's a lot of rumors flying around. Don't listen to rumors. Take your time. If you have a way to donate to those who are displaced. And the thing about it is, this is going around to the Russian people too. We've heard from Alex Terrible, from Slaughter to Prevail. He's heartbroken. He spent the last 2 years, on top of T-80 tanks with Kalashnikov rifles, showing, his pride for his country. And he's just like, I don't agree with any of this, And he's there. So you can imagine he's taking his own self into risk by coming out and saying something as a celebrity, because no one's safe. There was a guy, I think it was a newscaster, a TV personality, who gave up his job. I think he was like a morning show host, kind of like a Regis Philbin, or and he left his job as a morning show or a TV host, picked up a rifle, put on a helmet, went to the front lines, and he was killed in an artillery attack. It's real. I haven't heard from Roman at all. We've seen a couple of updates from Eugene and from Vlad about what's going on. We haven't heard anything in a few weeks. I know a lot of that is because the internet is kind of down over there. But we all wait patiently and slightly scared to hear from the members of Ginger, how they are, if their families are safe, if they're safe. It's a real thing. So all of you out there, love one another, take care of each other. If you have an opportunity to reach out and help people, please do. Remember, the leaders of these countries are making decisions that affect just people like you and me. I'm pretty sure Sabaton's going to tell this story one day. And I'm sure they're going to, I don't know how it's going to play out, but if they're going to do it, they have a historical duty to tell the truth of the story, but, stay out of the politics, which they've done a really good job of. So this was Race to the Sea by Sabaton from Nuclear Blast Records. It is Nuclear Blast Wednesday. My name is Old School Nerd, and, we talk about this all the time. If you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it, and, well, here we are. Love you guys. We'll see you later. Tomorrow we got some more reactions and a Dungeon and Dragons stream. To the members of Sabaton, thank you for sharing the stories of our history. I just wish certain people would have paid attention to them a little bit better. Oh my God, maybe this is all Sabaton's fault. Have you ever thought about that? Oh my God. By the way, this is a joke. Before I tell you this joke, it is a joke. Maybe Sabaton making amazing metal about all these historical battles and stuff make people think that every time a war breaks out, there's a metal concert. I would go to war if that was the case, but we know it's not true. Come on. I wish more people paid attention to Sabaton. The world would be a much better place if people paid attention to history. We'll see you guys later. Love you guys.